Galimera, Galimera, Galimera. Good morning, good morning, good morning to what can only be best described as a really grim day. The weather is absolutely appalling. Yesterday, from bright sunshine early in the morning, we went to very heavy rains and thunder. You can still hear crackles of thunder at the moment. In fact, as I'm talking now, the heavens have literally just opened up. So I'm not going to show you Amber Lockerbie and Panda Cratera or what's happening over towards Laguna or over towards Kalamaki, but let's just say the weather is horrible today, and we've had problems with the ferries as well. The weather's, I know there was one ferry running yesterday, but yeah, it's not been good, and I'm not sure it's like in the rest of Greece. And to be honest, the weather today is kind of reflecting the news as well. So I'm going to get straight down, crack on with the news. Quick shout out to Andy Johnson, who's tuning in at the moment, and also Margaret Miller, who's also tuning in. There's our lovely little Sandy. He's out on point duty at the moment, checking that everything's okay. So let's switch the camera around and give you the weather forecast for the news for today. Right, first of all then, January the 3rd, believe it or not, Sunday, 2021. Already the year seems, it's like it's starting to shoot by quite quickly. Day 57 of the lockdown, and COVID for the last 24 hours. Now I'm going to be disputing some of what's been going on with this, actually. At the moment, last reports we had, there were 262 new infections that were recorded yesterday. Now, to be honest, those infections are way down on the infection rate from the day before. Total infections now since the pandemic started, 139,709, of which 52.3% are male. Now, there's no new infections been reported from the, shall we say, outside agencies. However, I will come on to that in just a short while, all right? But anyway, according to the outside agency figures, no new infections, all right? Now, the death toll is also down as well. All right, 4,000. We had 40 new deaths yesterday, and our condolences to the families that are affected. And that brings the total amount of deaths since the pandemic started to 4,921, the average age of 79. If you're curious about the genders of the fatalities, 2,918 are male, and 2003 are female. 95.6% of those people had underlying health conditions or were over the age of 70. And again, we send our condolences to those families. Now, critical cases in hospitals are up by 3 people to 431. 288 are male, 143 are female. The average age of critical patients is 67 years of age. 79.8% of those have underlying health issues are or over the age of 70. Now, when we look at the infection rate at the moment, a 40-year-old man from Zakynthos was found positive from coronavirus yesterday after a test was performed at Zakynthos Hospital. Now, the 40-year-old man had mild symptoms and he's also going to remain in home quarantine. Now, it's not being reported if this man is connected to the 2 other cases that were reported on Saturday via the outside media, but no actual local media has reported anybody coming forward as having coronavirus, or if the coronavirus was they were infected here on the island, or whether it was from outside of the island, because once again, as I said before, when you are tested, it's not the location you're tested in, but it is the area where you originate from that gets the score for the virus, all right, which is, I think, is a ludicrous way to run the scoring system. You've also had another 3 cases of the virus, again, that were reported just before Christmas Eve, and again, there's been no word in the local media or any confirmation or clarification as to whether these 3 cases are here on the island or whether they are in other locations, once again, where they tested positive there, but the score goes on here. So anyway, we are looking at that here, keeping our eyes open. listening out to see what information is coming through in regards to local infection rates here on Zakynthos. Now, the big story at the moment, and that's a crack of thunder going over in the background, ominous crack of thunder. The Greek government now has suspended the click and collect purchasing for non-essential retailers. That has been allowed during the festive season, so that has now stopped. Bookstores, hairdressers, nail salons and non-essential shops will once again remain closed, and the hunting and fishing activities, those people going out hunting and fishing, they are now also banned. Now, the previous travel curfew, people moving around at night, that's been reinstated now. So as of yesterday, you had to be in your house by 9 o'clock at night, and you were not allowed out of your house until 5 o'clock in the morning. The only times you could go out of your house is one, you were seeking medical attention, or two, you were employed somewhere and you obviously had to get to work. Those were the only two reasons that you were allowed out on the streets after 9 o'clock at night. Anyway, both schools and churches, they're going to remain closed, and the return to the strict measures will be in force from Sunday, today, until January the 11th. All right. Now, I've always said all along, we were never coming out of lockdown on the 7th. We've been slowly being told, oh, the 11th, the 11th, the 11th, looking like the 11th, and now we've had it confirmed it is now going to be the 11th. Anyway, a government spokesman, Stelios Petas, said yesterday, we have to stay at home again as the operation of all activities and services that were gradually allowed before Christmas are now suspended. Although the number of new infections is dropping, both the situation in the country's ICUs and the daily death toll remain, and I don't like this word, stubbornly high. All right? I question that word at the moment. Jane and I have been talking about this morning. Stubbornly, that one word kind of reinforces the mindset that is going on at the moment. Are they trying to go for a policy of 0 deaths before we start to open up? You know, it's this kind of like they're keeping it going when in all effects, I think they could actually now start to relax it. Let's try and get businesses open. Let's try and get the kids back to school. Let's try and get people back to work. Here on this island at the moment, all right, we've got maybe 3 unknown people walking about who may be infected or maybe not be. That has not even been confirmed at the moment. We need to reopen. We need to go back to work. Every economy everywhere else in this world needs now to start getting sensible. Jane said to me, you should be playing The Lunatics Are Taking Over the Asylum every time you do a live show, just to show Mitsotakis, just to show Boris and other politicians, the head of the EU, that sensibility has to come back. We have to go back to work. We cannot stay locked down. Staying locked down obviously proves doesn't work, all right? You need to let herd immunity start to take place. And at the moment they're talking about we've got to vaccinate 50% of people to get herd immunity. And then other people are saying, oh, we only need to vaccinate 30. Make your minds up. Which is it? And at the moment, we're still waiting to see whether a vaccine is going to arrive on this island. And at the moment, that is all in abeyance as well. So at the moment, for 2021, it's not getting off to a good start. Also as well, the government was saying that tests of water treatment plants in what they're classing now as hot regions, okay, continue to show high levels of COVID-19 are still present in the communities, which could lead to new outbreaks if the measures were not relaxed. Well, anyway, we shall wait and see what happens. Anyway, anybody who has been busy at the moment over this period has been obviously the police. The police released yesterday figures of controls within the Ionian Islands that they've done, booking of people over the New Year's Eve time. On New Year's Eve, a cafe owner in Corfu was arrested by local police officers for serving a drink to a seated customer inside a bar. Anyway, he was fined €2,000 and his bar was also shut down for 2 weeks. He was obviously doing stand-up coffees or something like that, which is what you're allowed to do at the moment. And obviously one of his patrons obviously was not stood up while drinking their coffee. So obviously they've been fined. I wouldn't be surprised if patrons been fined as well, and €300. Right, in addition to the curfew rules, there were 10 violations in Zakynthos of people breaking the curfew on New Year's Eve, 20 people in Corfu, 5 people in Macardo, and 1 in Kefalonia, and they were all fined €300 by their local police departments in those locations. So people were still driving about here New Year's Eve in Zakynthos, and 10 people got done for that. And finally, there were also 10 violations were confirmed in Corfu, 4 in Kefalonia for not wearing masks, of which fines of €300 were imposed. And amazingly, nobody was done in Zakynthos for not wearing a mask. So there we go. Obviously, I must admit, every time you go out now, everybody seems to be wearing a mask, either at half mask down here or at full mask up there, but they still got their masks on. Anyway, Ginge, you're saying, have you got any good news for today? Well, I have actually got some nice news for today. And a very healthy baby girl was the first baby born in 2021 at the Zakynthos General Hospital. The doctor, Mr. Andreas Rensis, stated in his own personal Facebook page, the little girl, the firstborn of 2021, to Mrs. Kelocci, I think that is pronounced, gave birth to a first baby, which is a normally birth weighing baby at 3,170 grams, which we did the maths, that's about £7, all right, for us, still working the old money. And he said, let it be a catalyst for our island, for them to live happily. And also Jane and I would like to wish the little baby and her mother all the best and good luck for the future. So there you go. We had a baby born on New Year's Eve here in Zakynthos, which I think is a little bit of good news, all right? Let's have a quick look who's been tuning in. I can see a lot of people there waving. Andy Watson's waving. Nice to see you, Andy. Margaret Miller is also watching. Nice to have you here. Andy Johnson is also watching as well. Ian Booth is also tuning in from Huddersfield. Lovely to see you here. He says, morning, DJ Ginge. Morning to you, Ian. Nice to have you. Carol Davis is also watching as well. Andy Spencer is watching. Raffridge Buddy, nice to see you here, fella. Natalie Hunt is also watching as well. Lovely Hilary Rogers up there at the north end of the island is also watching as well. Ben Warner of Beats Radio, nice to have you tuning in as well, fella. I might be coming to talk to you later. All right, okay. Nice to have you tuning in, fella. He says morning. And Jeannie, Nick, is that Fondley? I can't put that. Anyway, Jeannie is tuning in. Nice to have you here, my lovely. David Lowry is also tuning in as well. Somebody also, a Greek, also tuning in. Nice to have you here as well, fella. Nice to see you. Hilary Rogers, she says, you need to shoot that noisy cockerel. Do you know what? You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You kind of get blasé to it, and you don't really hear them. Whereas, anybody else hears them, but we kind of get deaf to them, to be quite honest. So thank you for that. You made my day there, Hilary. Anyway, crumbs, it's stuck there. Oh, it's moving again. Andrew Long is watching as well. Nice to see you, Andrew Long. Also, Bridget and Derek Cole are also tuning in as well. Lovely to have you, Raffridge Buddies. They live over in Cyprus. Lyndon in Wales is also tuning in. Lovely to have you, Lyndon. Nice to see you. Heather Flynn is also watching as well. Nice to have you here, Heather, as well. Oriel Bossoas is also tuning in. That sounds like a Greek name. Nice to have you here. Give you a quick wave as well. Rachel Harrison is also watching as well. Dave Camp is also watching and wishing me a happy new year. Wishing you a great day on our Dream Island. Nice to have you here, Derek, as well. Nice to see it. I hope you've listened to my new show as well. Rosewood is also watching. She's here on the island. Gav Kitchen is watching. Raffridge Buddy. Philip Ellis is watching as well. The lovely Randall Butler is watching as well. He's our George Michael tribute. Once again, I know where he is in Brighton at the moment. He's been having a bit of a hard time as well, but it's nice to have you tuning in, fella. And the great news was yesterday George Michael and Wham, #1 in the UK charts in the UK with Last Christmas, 36 years ago. That was the last time that record was #1. And when you look at the chart of the UK Top 40 for New Year's Eve, it's all Christmas tunes of the past near enough that are in there. And you know what? It was a nice little throwback to happier times, I think, as well. So anyway, I'm chuffed about that. And I'm also chuffed as well, Randall, that you're probably feeling a little bit better at the moment and a little bit more social as well. But anyway, hopefully you might be back here in the summer. We'll see how things proceed. But lovely to have you looking in there, Randall. Pam Stott is also watching. Also, Sid James, he's watching as well. Gary Horsfield, Raffridge Buddy, nice to see you here. Also, George Patrici is also looking in as well. Nice to have you tuning in, George. Good morning, Ginge, and Happy New Year to you. That's from Patsy and Dobson. Lovely to have you. Gary Horsfield also says, morning, Ginge, all the best for you, bro. Thank you very much. He's put a couple of drinks on there as well on the end, which is nice. Debbie Walthamstow is also watching. Samson Oramat is also watching. I've got a feeling that sounds like a Turkish name, but cool. Nice to have somebody from Turkey tuning in as well. Dave Finch, my cousin, he's also tuning in. Nice to see you here as well. Gary Holsville, he says, here in Oldham, watching your great news reports, bro. Oh, cheers for that, fella. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Gail Teddin is watching. She says, Happy New Year. Thank you, Gail. She's the mum of our Elton John tribute, Mark Anthony Teddin. Nice to have you looking in. George from the Obelix restaurant is also watching as well. Lovely to see you here. He says, good morning, Ginge. Nice to see you. Nice to see you as well. Julie Stevens is watching as well. Give you a wave. Alan Woodhouse is watching too. Also, Benjana Sula is also watching as well. Lovely to have you tuning in. David Matthews is also tuning in. Gary Horsfield's giving me a thumbs up. Alan Woodhouse says Happy New Year, Ginge. And Mike Gatley is watching as well. Nice to have you here as well. He's just round the corner from us. And if you're looking to adopt any stray dogs, check out Mike's Facebook page. And he can point you in the right direction if you want to adopt any stray dogs from over here in Zakynthos. Right, that's it for today. Once again, I can only just apologise. Not good news. It is a grim day. Everything about what's happening with 2021, even though we're only into day 3 of 2021, is not boding well at the moment. But all we can try and do is just stay positive. At the moment, I look at what's going on in the UK. Keir Starmer now has resigned from the Labour Party. So God only knows if Diane Abbott is trying to push herself forward to run that. And then you're talking about lunatics running the asylum. Lunatics are not going to be running. That's the way she talks. She talks so slowly that by the time you've asked her a question, you've forgotten what the question is, and she hasn't got a clue what the answer is. But anyway, things here slightly better. Anyway, just to remind you, I did a show yesterday. It's up online. Thank you to all those people who tuned in yesterday afternoon. I did it on a Saturday. I normally will go back to Wednesdays and Fridays, but it was just, I owed you a show because I didn't do one on New Year's Day. So there's a show up there. Fantastic choice of music in there as well. Big up to George Michael as well in that show. And it's audio as well as video. You can drop it from the Dropbox and watch it on your big telly with all the music videos and my dulcet face occasionally appearing up and down. Or you can listen to the audio online. And can I just say, I was so chuffed yesterday that my Christmas Day show was 27th in the pop chart. It was 9th in the reggae chart, it was 13th in the soul chart and 70th in the rock chart. So we'll see how the first show of 2021 goes and see if it charts as well. See if the magic is still there. Anyway, I'm just going to quickly say hello to a few people. Sharon Barker, hello my lovely. Andy Wells, or Anthony Wells, Tony Wells over there in Spain. Nice to have you tuning in. Graham Chisholm also tuning in as well. Right. That's it from me. I'm going to go. Oh, look at that. The sun is coming out just ever so slightly and the cockerel's gone quiet. Who shot him? Anyway, I will catch you guys later. You take care. Have a fantastic day. And let's see if we've got any better news for you tomorrow. Ta-ra.